Hi, thank you for joining me. We will be starting shortly. We will be starting in approximately 15 seconds. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this early Tuesday afternoon. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I'm a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. xTool Squad program is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the xTool products that we own. And the demos are a mix of online and in person. And it depends on the host that you select. So it depends on what they offer. Some hosts will also offer material testing and skill training. So material testing is basically where we test customer supplied samples of your material under a number of different parameters to get you ideal results. And then skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member. So it could be either in person or online. Again, it depends on the host. And it doesn't have to be just one-on-one. It could be 2 to 3 people. So let the host know in advance. And the skill training is essentially whatever you want to get out of it. So if you're struggling with physical aspects of the laser, such as maintenance or placing material, we will help you with that. So we will guide you from start to finish. It's very tailored to what you want to get out of it. So if you're all good to go on the software side, it'd be more of the hands-on stuff. We'll concentrate on that. So do reach out if you're looking for something like that. Right now, xTool is running a promotion whereby product demos are absolutely free. So product demos, if you want a demo of the product, either in person or online, it will cost you absolutely nothing. And what I will do is I will drop the information into the chat right now where you can go to. So in fact, if we switch over to Safari now, if I was to scroll along the top, so when you go to the xTool website, you can go to local support, free product demo. I've just opened that in a new tab. And if I just hide my face here, there we go. So you can see along here, it'll have different xTool products. And I should note that Omni 01 will also be added to that list. So the 01 just got released from pre-sale this week, or late last week even. So the only thing that will cost you is if you want a sample of the apparel film. So let's just say we want a in-person demo, and we'll go, do you know what? We're in London. you will see a list of hosts. So if I was to go to Andy, you can see what machines he has. However, what if I wanted to demo the P3? So you can select what you want, and I can go, okay, Damien it is. I can click on that. It will open up in a new tab, and you have the different options. So product demo, absolutely free. Material testing and skill training, those are paid for solutions. And the cost of this will differ by host. The host sets the cost. So do bear that in mind. But you can see the availability of the host here. So that's how easy it is. And no credit card or debit card information, no payment information is required when you do this. So the product demos are absolutely free. So with that being said, if we jump on to our next bit. So this is the workshop that I have set up, and it's more of a which laser do I need? So hopefully from the end of this, you'll have an idea what laser you require, or if indeed do you require a laser. So the reason I say that is xTool now offer more than just laser engraving, and I constantly get asked about when we engrave. Some people use the terminology printing. Printing implies ink, so lasers engrave, and sometimes you can indeed get colors using a laser, but it doesn't use ink. So for example, the F2 Ultra can get very repeatable colors on stainless steel, but that's not ink. So xTool have now released a few different products with the ability to print. So for example, the M1 Ultra has the inkjet module, the M2 has a full color inkjet module, and now the O1 is a UV printer. So it's not a laser engraver, it's indeed a printer, and that's what it does. So we'll go through everything, and if anyone has any questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer them as we go along. So I'll cover the 3 machines that I have here in the office. So that's the xTool M2, the xTool F2, very portable, the small baby version, my favorite machine for taking out and about because it's so portable, and then the F2 Ultra UV. So I'll cover the tech specs. We will then head to the back of the office where I'll show you around the machines, and then we'll briefly cover some laser safety, show you the software, and then we'll ask some questions such as what materials do you want to work with. So depending on what materials you want to work with might depend on what laser to choose. So I constantly get demos for a specific machine, and what the customer wants to get out of it is something completely different. It's not its area of expertise. Sometimes it's not even in the ballpark. So you need a different type of machine. So we'll cover that. We'll go over some of the added features that xTool have started integrating into their ecosystem, such as custom things, AI Make, the AI aspect of it. Are we looking to do batch processing, take online orders? So we'll combine all that into this workshop. And again, if anyone has any questions, my contact details have been dropped into the chat, and I will be monitoring the chat throughout. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. And if you're watching this after it's aired, please do reach out. My contact details are on the screen and again in the chat. So the xTool M2. So this was released, I believe, in May time. And it's not necessarily, it's an upgrade over the M1, but it doesn't do some things that the M1 can do. So for example, it doesn't have that blade functionality, so it cannot cut vinyl. So this machine comes in 3 variations of laser module. So you have the 10 watt and 20 watt diode laser modules. And then you have the 3 watt infrared module. So the diode lasers are very good for engraving and cutting organic material. That's typically what I use them for as a rule of thumb. Whereas the infrared module excels at marking metal. So if you're looking to mark metal, the infrared module is where you want to be looking. This also has the ability to print. It has a print inkjet module that you can attach and put a little ink cartridge in there, and it's full color. So it's the CMYK, and that stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K is for black. So it's full color, what you would expect from a printer that's in your house or workspace. So do note that this does not have a white ink cartridge. So it does matter, because if you're printing on darker colors, when you print on it, it's going to be lost. Some of that vibrancy is going to be lost because of the darker color. Average weight for the UV printer? Not sure at the moment, Emma. I'm still waiting for mine, so I ordered mine literally as soon as you could order it. The estimated date on the website, I believe, is October, but they're looking to get it to us sooner, so I'm eagerly awaiting the UV printer as well. And then this machine is, the M2 is a fully enclosed class 1 laser, and what that means is you are not exposed to any of the light from any of the lasers. So it's fully enclosed, your eyes are fully protected, you don't need to wear safety glasses when operating this machine. All that laser light is filtered through the lid. It's very, very safe to be around. This machine can also not be operated with the lid open. So it has interlock switches on the lid and on the base. So if it detects that the base isn't attached or the lid is open, for example, it will not work. So it's very, very safe. So xTool have done a great job getting Class 1 certification. It's the safest certification you can get for a laser. And then this machine is jam-packed full of technology that you would find in the more expensive models. So this has a dual camera solution. It has a 5 megapixel camera that is located on the lid, and I'll show you that. And then it has a 2 megapixel close-up camera that is located to the right of the module bay. So where you insert the modules, so where you would put the 10 watt, 20 watt diode or the 3 watt or the ink cartridge, to the right of that is a little camera, and that takes a close-up camera. And don't be too held up on it's only a 2 megapixel camera. Type of lens makes a big difference. So any photographers watching will know exactly what I'm talking about. Megapixels is only one aspect of quality of a camera. So the type of lens used is important. So the 5 megapixel uses a panoramic lens, whereas the 2 megapixel does not. And you'll see the quality difference when I show you. It also has some novel features. It can auto detect material. So it can give you a rough idea of what the material is that's in there and what parameters to use. For this reason, it's a very easy to use machine if you're new to laser engraving. But realistically, you should always know what material you're putting in there, because there's certain materials you do not want to engrave. In terms of speed, the max speed is 600 millimeters a second, which is pretty average for a gantry-based system. And then this machine comes pre-assembled and is ready to use once it's unboxed, and it's very well boxed. You do a brief calibration and you're literally good to go. And then the max workspace of this machine is 42.6 centimeters by 32 centimeters. I've put an asterisk next to that because it does reduce depending on what you're doing. So by that I mean, if you insert the 3 watt infrared module, it is wider and deeper, and therefore you will lose some of that maximum workspace. And again, the inkjet module is considerably bigger, and again, you will lose some of that space. What I'll do is I will drop in the specs or a list to the website for the M2. So if you want to find out more information about the M2, if you follow that link that I've dropped in the comments or scan the QR code on screen, that will take you to xTool's official UK website for the specs on the M2. Now, if we jump over to one of the portable lasers that I love. So this is the xTool F2, and this is a dual laser system. So it has two different types of laser in it. It has a 5-watt infrared laser and a 15-watt diode laser. And again, that 5-watt infrared laser, because it's an infrared laser, is very, very good for marking metal. And the 15-watt is very good for cutting and engraving on organic material. Because of this two types of lasers, you can engrave on well over 300 different types of material. So it's very, very versatile. In terms of speed, this is a completely different type of laser. So this is a galvo-based laser. And because of that, it's able to get maximum speed of 6,000 millimeters. And so the gantry-based system, which moves around on its different X, Y, and Z axis, is only capable of 600 millimeters a second. So the galvo-based lasers use a couple of mirrors at the laser source, and they bounce that laser around the bed. Because of this, they're able to achieve these rapid speeds. One con, I guess, or the biggest con with a galvo laser is the usable area. So if you're looking for a laser that has a big work area, galvo laser is typically not where you're looking. So in terms of the work area of this laser, it's 11.5 by 11.5 centimeters. So it's just a little bit bigger than a standard coaster that you'll find at home or at a pub, for example. So it has a limited work area, but the area that it does have, it's able to rapidly engrave. So if you was looking to do coasters or anything of that size, maybe necklaces, this is the laser that you would be looking at. It does come with some pretty advanced technology. So it has a 50 megapixel camera. So this has a camera in it that you can use to align, and it has an alignment accuracy when fully focused up to 0.1 millimeters. So it's very, very accurate. And again, this comes pre-assembled and it's ready to use when you do a brief calibration. This machine can be operated with that orange guard up. When you do that, you will need safety glasses. Safety glasses do not come with this machine. And you can extend the workspace, the work area, if you need to. So you can extend the one side, the width, up to 40 centimeters using the slide extension. So that's enough to get about 4 slate coasters in. So you're still stuck with 11.5 one way, but you can extend the width to 40 centimeters with the slide extension. And again, if you want to find out more information, you can either scan the QR code on screen or follow what I've just dropped in the chat. So that link will take you to the official xTool website, the UK version for the xTool F2. And finally, the xTool F2 Ultra UV. So this shouldn't be confused with the xTool F2 Ultra. So the Ultra, just not the UV version, is a different laser completely. This version is the UV version and only has a single laser in it. So the single laser is a 5-watt UV laser. And you might be thinking, well, the previous machine had a 5-watt infrared. This is just 5-watt overall. What's so special about it? The UV laser operates on a completely different spectrum. So it's a different laser again. And it's able to do things that other lasers aren't. So the UV laser can pretty much engrave on all types of material. Some you shouldn't. So just because you can engrave doesn't mean you should. So this can pretty much engrave on all types of material. And the reason why I mention that is the type of laser that it is produces low heat. So it has high photon energy, and that high photon energy is able to break the molecular bonds of the material and either mark it or cut it. So for example, I was able to cut wood with this. So I cut some plywood and there's not a burn mark in sight on the plywood. So if I was to just quickly show you that as an example. So this is a piece of wood. This was engraved on the F2 Ultra UV. So you get that nice dark engrave. I left the top bit on it. So this I cut with a diode and you can see where it burnt it. Now the rest of it You can see not a burn mark in sight. And again, I cut this after the fact, just top, just so you could see the difference. And that pretty much highlights the ability of the xTool F2 Ultra UV. So again, it uses high photon energy. It doesn't just use plain old heat. And again, this is not to say this machine doesn't create heat. It does. The laser does produce some heat. It just produces minimal heat compared to the other types of laser. So a diode laser uses the heat pretty much to cut through the material. This laser does not do that. So do bear that in mind. Because of this, it's sometimes called a cold processing laser or cold processing. So these labels are thrown around. And again, like I said, it's not to say it doesn't produce heat. It just produces minimal heat compared to the other types of laser. Because of this, you can use it on delicate circuitry. So if you've ever opened up TV or seen any circuit boards and they've got something printed, more than likely they've used the UV laser to engrave that on there. So it's not printed, it's engraved more than likely, and that's because it can do so without damaging it. So this machine has a maximum speed of 15,000 millimeters a second, and it has a 48 megapixel camera. And that camera allows an alignment accuracy of up to 0.2 millimeters when fully focused on the material. This machine excels with inner engravings of glass. So you might have seen YouTube videos, Facebook ads of this machine, and it's absolutely amazing when you see it. It's able to engrave on the inside of glass, and you do so with a different type of lens. So it has a field lens that you can undo and attach when you're doing inside engraves. When you're doing normal engraves, you attach the normal lens. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. And this machine, when it engraves glass, does so in a very different way than, say, a CO2 laser or a diode laser when you coat the material. So people always say, well, my machine can engrave glass. What happens with a CO2 laser is it creates microfractures. So it doesn't actually engrave the glass, it causes microfractures. In the same way with a diode laser, when you paint the glass black, so it absorbs the energy, that heat causes microfractures. The UV laser will actually engrave it, so you can feel where it's engraved. You can see the little glass particles. So it does so very, very differently. In terms of the work area, you have a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter work area. So you can fit in 4 slate coasters on the bed and engrave them if you wish. You can extend this machine with the conveyor belt. So sometimes it says on the website that it's not compatible. It is compatible. And you can extend that working area up to 50 centimeters wide. So you're still stuck with 20 centimeters one way, but you can extend it to 50 centimeters. And that's with the conveyor belt, and it operates slightly differently than the slide extension. The conveyor belt is very much what you would expect to find at a store when you go to the checkout. So Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, conveyor belt moves along. So this is specifically made for batch processing. You could have a little basket at the end of it, and things are just dropping off into there once you're done. Whereas the slide extension will move along and then move back. So these operate in very different ways. And what I'll do is I will drop in a link to the F2 Ultra UV. And again, if anyone wants more information on this, please follow that link, or indeed scan the QR code on screen, and that will take you to the F2 Ultra UV. I should note that if anyone's looking to buy a machine, can use coupon code Wayne20. That will give you £20 off. And that can be used with any existing coupons. So it's stackable with any sales. It can be used with the O1. So if you're looking to buy the O1 and want to get it cheaper. If you're looking to buy the O1 and want an additional discount, I can offer an additional discount via Post Assist. So if you're looking to purchase that coveted O1 printer, please do reach out. And I'll drop a link to that also in the comments. And with that being said, I'll jump over to the physical tour of the machines. So if I switch over to here, you can say we're on the physical look around of the machines. So I'll do that now. So we'll start with the M2. So I do have a pre-recorded video, but what I'll do is I'll just cover most of the aspects here. So it has a single button on the front of the machine. When you send a job to it, you simply press this button to start the job. Now, if I open this machine up and close it while I continue talking, you can hear that beep, hopefully. So one of the outstanding features for me of this machine is every time you open and close this lid, when it makes that beeping sound, it takes a picture using the panoramic camera that is located here. So if I was to quickly go over to my computer, and what I'll do is I'll have it here, and what I'll do is I'll connect it and just show you what I mean. So when you open and close that lid, it will automatically take a picture. What I'll do is I will just put this poster in so you can see me over here by my machine. So right now I'm away from my desk. I will place this on the bed. I will close it, and you'll see on the screen that it has indeed updated. So that's one of the features that I wanted to highlight here. So moving on. So that is where the first camera is located. And then the second camera is located to the right of the module. So just here, and you'll see it has a camera icon on the top. So the camera is located under here. Now, this machine has air assist built in, so you don't have to have a separate air assist pump. And then this machine is very, very easy to switch between modules. You can easily do it one-handed. You simply unplug the USB-C cable that's in it, and it's magnetically attached. So I've just done that with one hand. If I switch this over to the back and just get a little closer, you can see there's two metal prongs, and they will fit in to the back of the module. If I just zoom in here, you can see here and here, they will fit in, and these here are magnets. So these here are magnets, and it will just slot straight in. If you wanted to use the laser with the rotary device, for example, the way that works is you attach this, and again, it fits in very nicely. And all I do is attach the laser at a different angle. So now the laser is coming vertically as opposed to horizontally. And again, you simply attach the USB-C cable to the laser. So it's very, very simple. This is a very novel way to use the space that is available. So they've done so without a riser base, and this has kept costs down. When you do attach the rotary attachment, you need to run the cable outside of the machine, and you might be saying to yourself, well, you can't access or you can't use this machine when the guard is open. And you would be absolutely right. So xTool have made a nice, easy way to be able to do that. You can't really see it, excuse me, here, but on the side of this machine, just here, what you can do is run the cable. So you can see here the lid closes, but this is available. The cable runs alongside down, and there's a notch that is cut out just here in the corner. So the cable is able to plug into the back and this lid is able to stay closed. So it's very, very nice. In terms of connectivity, there's several options on the side in terms of USB or proprietary connection for rotary device. If you want to attach the air purifier, for example. And then there's a power switch on the back. I think that pretty much covers the gist of everything on the M2. It does come with these little clips, and I use these to prop up wood. So don't be afraid if you mark the bed. So I've marked the bed here. This is very natural, very common. There's not a machine whose bed I haven't marked that I own. You can see here, for example, that I marked the bed. So that's why I have this here. So if you want to get something, you can buy something. It doesn't come with this. This is simply where I cut out keychain and it was over this. So this protected the base and then it was over it like that. So do bear that in mind. When switching to the inkjet module, it's the same process as switching modules as I showed you. You just unplug this, plug in the print module, snap it in, and you're good to go. Now if we move on to the F2 Ultra UV. So this is a very different type of machine. So what you just saw now was a gantry-based machine. This is very much a galvo-based machine. And you're able to do real-time framing. So we'll come back to the framing afterwards because I'll show you the framing on the M2 versus framing on the galvo-based lasers. So these lasers here. So this machine comes with a nice spacious work area compared to the F2, but it's still considerably smaller than the M2. Now, this comes with a touchpad. So this is how we control the machine in the sense of start it as well as manually focus it. So if I zoom in on the bed, you can see there, there's two very distinct lasers. Now, if I was to say to myself, I want to engrave on this, I would press the up and down buttons on this machine here. So up and down. And what I want to do is get the red dot and the blue dot to intersect. So there we go. Once they do, that machine is fully in focus with the laser. So that's the ideal distance from the laser to engrave. The software can do this automatically, but it's good to know how to do it manually using this. You can also press this button here to start a job. It's touchscreen. You can run jobs off a USB. So if you're offline, you can have multiple jobs, not even have a computer attached. Now, in terms of buttons, other buttons. So there is a physical stop button on the side of the machine here. So that's an emergency stop. There is a reset button and a power button. And then there is two connectivity options. There's a USB-C, which you use that to connect to your computer if you're not doing so wirelessly. And then there's also a USB slot there for a USB stick. So if you want to run jobs off it. Now, if you're looking to run the rotary attachment, say, for example, there you can unplug this. So if I just zoom in, maybe just about see it there. So you can see here where we can attach rotary attachment and the conveyor belts. Very nice and easy. In terms of venting, so both of these machines, so the M2 and the F2 Ultra, I have venting outside. Now if we move over to the small but mighty of the group, so this is the xTool F2. And if I just lean this forward, maybe, you can see the emergency stop here. And then that again is used if there's an emergency. So don't use this as a general stop. In terms of the work area, it's pretty small, 11.5 by 11.5 centimeters. And again, there's a similar process. So this doesn't have a touchscreen pad. You can connect a touchscreen pad if you buy one. It does not come with a touchscreen pad. So there's a button and it's both a button and a dial. And you simply move the dial up to move it up, move the dial down to move it down. And again, similar, you want to get the red dot and the blue dot to intersect on the material. That means it's in focus. You press the dial in when you send a job to it to start it. There is a framing button. And then there is some USB connectivity on here. One is USB-C to attach to a computer. The other is for the rotary or slide extension. And there is some connectivity on the back as well. So I have this connected to the, you might just see it just here, the air purifier. So the air purifier will automatically run when this machine is running the job. It will automatically turn on the air purifier. So it's not on all the time. It's only on when it needs to be on. And you can see with this handle here, it's very, very portable. So I believe this is 4.6 kilograms. Extremely portable. This is one of my favorite machines for taking out and about. I've taken it on the train and I've taken it on the bus. So if anyone has any questions about that, please do let me know. And what I'll do now is we will have a talk about safety. So in terms of safety, never leave the machine unattended. You want to put it on a flat, stable surface, and don't modify the machine. So these machines are made a specific way for a reason, so don't modify it. And then ventilation. So we want to vent the fumes that these machines create. So you have a couple of options. The first one is venting it outside with the included hose. So all these machines include a certain amount of hose. I think it's about 1.2 meters. And vent it outside is the cheapest and most effective method. If that's not possible, you can purchase a machine. So for the smaller machines, it's the air purifier. For the bigger machines like the F2 Ultra or the P2S, you're looking more at the AP2. So that's just a bigger air purifier effectively with more layers, and it can keep up with the airflow. So just because we can engrave something doesn't mean we should. So know your material. So never cut PVC or vinyl. So I do know there are laser safe vinyls, but as a general rule of thumb, most vinyls that you would find contain PVC and are not laser safe. So PVC is very dangerous when ignited. So when you cut it or engrave it, it will turn to a very dangerous gas that's not good for your lungs. It will permanently damage your lungs and it will corrode your machine. So it's a double whammy. So please don't do it. So please know your material. And again, the same applies for leather. Certain types of leather, for example, natural leather might be tanned using chemicals rather than vegetable oil. So when you go to engrave it, again, you get this bad gas. And the same could be said for fake leather. Some fake leathers contain PVC. And like I said, we don't want to be doing the PVC because it's very dangerous to your body and to your machine. So for this reason, I don't engrave customer supplied samples of these unless they can tell me where it comes from and what it contains. So if I was at a craft fair and someone pulls out their leather wallet and says, could you put this on there? My answer is no, because if they can't tell me what it is, I can't engrave it safely and I won't put myself or others at risk. So it's just a case of being very careful. Now, safety glasses. The M2 is a class 1 machine, and that's all it operates in is class 1. So because of that, you don't need safety glasses with the M2. However, the other two machines, the F2 and the F2 Ultra UV, can be class 4 as well as class 1. What that means is when the guard is fully down, it's safe to be around, but you can operate this machine with the guard open. So because of that, it's class 4 mode, which is a danger to your eyes. So you will need the appropriate safety glasses. And these aren't just normal safety glasses. These protect you from very specific wavelengths of light. So do check. I've got a third-party pair as well as xTool's official glasses. And I know, for example, these glasses here will not protect me from UV spectrum of light. So buy the appropriate safety glasses. And in terms of price, they're very, very comparable. In fact, they're cheaper to buy than third-party glasses. So always check. If you need help, please do reach out. I'll be more than happy to assist you. Now, if we jump on, there is an honorable mention in terms of the laser dot size. So the laser dot size makes a difference. And the M2 has two different types of laser, diode laser. And the dot size in that is different between the 10 watt and the 20 watt. So I mention this because if you're looking to specifically engrave, you want that smaller dot size. With the bigger dot size, you'll get less of the finer details, and just think of it as someone who draws. So when you use a pen, it typically has a thicker nib. If you're trying to get fine details, they might be lost because the nib is too thick. Now, if you want to get the finer details, you want to use a sharp pencil, and that will pick up all those minute details. So think of it in the same way. The infrared laser has a more, well, it does have a circular laser dot size, and it's smaller than the diode laser. So typically infrared will get more details than the diode laser, and the F2 UV, F2 Ultra UV is in a league of its own in terms of detail. So the amount of detail you can get on that is so crisp. So if I was to show you a Ring doorbell plug that I engraved with the F2 Ultra UV, it looks picture quality. So a diode laser would have melted this. You can see, and again, a simple line drawing on my watch. And again, the same picture there. And this is just a silicon strap. So the amount of detail you can get on a UV laser is absolutely phenomenal. So if we jump over to the software, so having a machine is great, but if you don't have the software to back it up, a machine can be useless. So this is what makes xTool vastly different than competitors. So I constantly get told, well, I have a laser that can do this. It's a 15 watt UV laser, but the software that they use is abysmal and they can't get the results that 5 watt can give. So xTool don't just copy features from other competitors or manufacturers. They will only add a feature, and sometimes it might be a feature another machine has. They will only even add that if they can somehow improve it. So they don't just copy, they lead the way. So because of this, xTool have some amazing software. So if I just show you this. So if we go to the main screen, this is xTool Studio, and what I'll do is I'll drop a link to xTool Studio in the comments. If you're looking to download it, you can download it today. It's absolutely free. It works with all of xTool's lasers. Honorable mentions, xTool Academy. So I used this yesterday to help a customer out. You can select the machine that you want, and then you can go along So I didn't have this machine, but I was helping a customer out, and I was able to get the information I needed without even owning the machine from this xTool Academy. I highly recommend that. And this is an official xTool resource, and they're adding to it, and there's more things being added as time goes along. So one of the first things I would say go to is, if you untick this little tick box, you've got this general laser safety training. This has real world value. You get a certificate at the end of it. It can form a part of your risk assessment when you are out and about at craft fairs. It has real world value, so I highly recommend that. And it's good to know the dangers of lasers. So good to know. So I always recommend that in terms of health and safety. And then they do have courses teamed up with collaborators. So Paul here has created a course on how to start and scale your business. Highly recommend you check it out. It's lots of good knowledge for you to have. You can also follow him on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. He's a very good guy, very knowledgeable. And again, I highly recommend you check that out. Other aspects of this, if you're very new to lasers, you'll find that this Atom projects. So Atom is also a website in itself, so atomm.com. But this is incorporated inside of xTool Studio. So you got a single pane of glass where you can access this. So I could say, you know what? I want to make this. If you click on it, it will tell you information about it. So it's just loading this information now. So this was done using polished steel, and it even lists samples it uses, or you could use on it maybe. And this was done with the F2 machine. And I could just click open, and that will open up in xTool Studio. And again, if we scroll down maybe and have a look at something different, so maybe some wood. So we could chop these out. Wooden Baby monthly milestone discs. And this was done with the P2S, but it's compatible with the M2, 10 watt, 20 watt. And this is just 3mm or 1/8 of an inch birch plywood. And again, if I was to click open on this, you'll see it will just automatically open. So this is automatically gone to the P2S. I can just switch that and go to M2, and you can see the bed size difference. So I could do that. And that is literally how easy it is. And it's automatically selected the plywood, applied the settings, so 100% power, 3 speed, 1 pass. And if we go in on the blue aspect, so we select the blue layers from here, you can see the blue layers are different. So the red layers are cuts and the blue layers are engraves. And I typically suggest people that they do it this way. So when I look on a screen, I know that red is going to cut and blue, anything else, is going to be engraved. So you can easily change a layer by clicking it and selecting a layer. So right click. And again, I typically have a cut as a red layer. And that just keeps things nice and simple. And you can see it's broken out here, engrave and cut. So we have that. Discard that. If I go back, and that is Atom. So you can upload your own projects, and for doing so, you'll get points that are redeemable in various ways. And we'll cover that a bit later if we have time. And then finally, custom things. So custom things is absolutely fantastic. Hi, Jeff. I would recommend the P2S. So it really depends on what you're trying to work on. So if you are working If you need a large workspace, the largest workspace is the P3, but it's really expensive. And I shouldn't say really expensive, it's more expensive. And more importantly, it takes up a bigger footprint. So I've had people that wanted to start out with the P3, but they don't have the space because people don't realize just how much space it takes up. But the P2S it does work with, and that's a nice desktop size laser. So if you've never engraved before, I would highly recommend the P2S. So it really depends on what you want to do. So acrylic is the way to go, CO2 lasers. Wood, CO2 lasers, diodes can cut it, but the Omni will work with the P2S as well as the P3. So if you want help, please do reach out to me. I'll drop my contact information in the form again. So if you reach out to me, I'll be happy to help guide you through the process, I guess. So if you get stuck, please do let me know. So I'm on WhatsApp, iMessage, or just normal text. So if you message me, I will get back to you after this live. So one of the greatest things that I think xTool have done is make it so simple to be able to incorporate what you do into your online business. So if a lot of people will sell online, and custom things, you're welcome, Jeff. And custom things makes it super simple. I use this for my business to take orders online. So here you can see some orders. This is a sample store. I've added some sample products. Once you set these products up once, they're good to go. So if you take the time to set these products up, honestly, it will save you so many hours going forward. So for example, custom cards. If I switch over to Safari and I go over to custom things, so this is my custom things store. I hit customize. I have my different colors, and there might be different parameters, and you can set different parameters for different colors. So xTool have you covered in every way. You can deliver it or pick it up. So I'll put pick up. It's got locations here, so I'll hit customize, and you can select what options they have available here. So pre-made templates. So I think I've just got some football stuff. So pre-made template is literally something that you've come up with, and there's only certain fields that they can change. So for example, they can only change the name. So I'll change that to Wayne. And they can only change this number, and I'll change that to number 10. And that's it. Nothing else can be changed. So this is a rapid way to give customers the ability to create their own designs. So pretty much it's a 90% pre-made, and they can just customize the elements they need. So for example, I've got this for family trees. So personally, I would spend a while doing family trees. So a customer would place an order, I'd send them a draft, and then it would be, can you change this? Can you change that? Before you know it, I've spent an hour on the design, and I've not even made the product. So now, if a customer wants something, I send them a link and I say, place an order. When you place the order, I'll get it and I'll engrave it exactly like that. So one, it takes the onus off me. I can be busy making product as opposed to designing it. So I will still design new things, but I will upload it to custom things and give the customer the ability to do all that customization. So it gets the customer interaction going. Once you place the order, what it will do is you will see it pop up here. You'll also get an email. They get an email as to what's going on. So this can be done with the print aspect too. So this works with the Apparel printer, and I can pretty much guarantee this is going to work with the O1. So this is what I'm going to be using. So I engrave golf coins, and when I get my O1, I'll be printing on the same golf coins. So here's a test order from Jeff. It would say process if it's never been processed before. When you process it and engrave it, it will automatically tick it as processed and let the customer know. So I've processed these, so I will just hit reprocess. it will automatically open up in xTool Studio. It will have customer design, and it's opened up on the appropriate machine. So for example, if I had acrylic, it will automatically open up on my P2 or my P2S. In this case, I have the humble golf coin. So this is enamel. And if anyone knows anything about enamel, you will know that it's very delicate. It's very difficult to engrave. So if I use a CO2 laser, infrared or diode, you end up melting it, burning it. It's not a very good look. The UV laser, with its amazing properties, I'm able to engrave on enamel with detail and get a nice dark contrast, so without burning it. And it's automatically got all the correct settings. So you will see here, it's got the settings for the text. So if I was to switch over, and you'll see it just here. There we go. 85 power, 1600 speed, 1 pass, 700 lines per centimeter. And if I was to click on the image here, you'll see the dot duration is different, and the dots per inch is different. So different settings. So I highly recommend you check out Custom Things if you're thinking about taking online orders. Honestly, it will simplify your life. So that is pretty much Custom Things in a nutshell, and it is a paid for solution. So I do want to point that out. They do offer a very limited free tier, and I think it's 10 items a month. If we go to Custom Things, scroll to the bottom, my subscriptions. Yeah, it's 10, process 10 items a month. And you do have an AI aspect to this, so 200 AI generations per billing cycle. Is very useful. So if you looked at this order that I just did here, this was actually a real picture, and I was quickly able to change that picture using AI Make, but that was incorporated into Custom Things. So AI Make in the software, if you go over to AI Make, I use this extensively, and it's very simple. I did some skill training over the weekend for a customer and showed them how to turn a normal photo into something that is laser engravable ready. And you might say ChatGPT can do it, or another program. But if I was to show you what the difference is, it might help you make that decision. So you can see here, this is a real picture of my dog. That is the difference. I was able to use the exquisite engrave effectively there, and was able to get that going. Or maybe you can use the line drawing. When you select the style, you can see the different styles, and same with exquisite engrave. Got different options, and it's very much led by clicking. You don't have to do much typing, much prompting. So the difference is you don't have to prompt. So if you use ChatGPT, you have to be very specific about what you want. You have to use a different program, and you have to then import it in, and it's not to say that it's going to come out correctly. So this is laser engravable ready. So I use this extensively. It saves me so much time. And again, there is a cost to this. So the credits are very cheap. As you can see here, I got 6,500 credits. I do use this all the time. Buy credits. It's simply $5 for 500, $10 for 1,000, $20 for 2,000. Each generation will cost you 6 credits. I don't generally use the quality mode, I'll be honest with you. I typically go with the fast mode. So it's less than 5p per generation, and I incorporate this into the cost of the product because the amount of time it saves me is well worth that 5 pence. And that's AI Make. And you can do it in all sorts of ways. So like Jeff, I've brought the xTool 01, and I'm eagerly waiting its delivery. I can use that to make images. So I can use this AI make to make images. So if I take off engrave, have a look at vectorize, you can vectorize things. You can do relief. You can do all sorts of stuff. And I guess if I was to show you Atom, if I switch over to more specifically to Atom, I'm not logged in, that's fine. You can see here there is a load of different things, materials labs. So you can upload, do your own material tests and upload and get points for doing that you can use. So those points that I just showed you, the credits, so you can get paid for doing so. And there's various contests that are held and designs and templates. AI make, so that AI make that I just showed you, we can do that through Atom. And you do have the print feature. So these, if you're looking to do print, so a power printer or indeed the O1, I will be using this. I can guarantee I will be using this, and I will be doing demos of the O1 once I get it, just to show you how versatile and how amazing it's going to be. And incorporating this with AI just makes my workflow so much more seamless. I'm not a graphics design artist. I can do things. It does take me a while. I know how to use Illustrator, Photoshop. I use Affinity Studio. I do know how to use those programs, but I'm not a graphic design artist. So it does take me time to do those sorts of things. And this is where xTool excel. They've created a complete ecosystem that can just help a normal person start a business. So as long as you've got the desire and thirst to learn, it's very simple to get started. xTool have reduced the barrier to entry from people that have degrees or specialities in certain things to just a normal person. So one of my customers brought a machine for their kid and is using it to help get him trained up onto these types of technologies, and they hit the road running. They was able to use the M2 to get engraves from day one. So xTool have really lowered the barrier to entry in terms of knowledge and skills. And that's not to say you don't need knowledge or skills, but you can quickly and easily obtain that using the software. So do bear that in mind. It's very, very simple, and it honestly is as simple as I'm showing you. So if I wanted an image like this, I would simply click it and I would drop an image in, and it will come out like that. And honestly, I'm going to have so much fun. I've not really done much on the print side because I don't have the Apple printer, but I will have this O1 that is going to be released. And I guess it does deserve an honorable mention. So if I make this full screen, what I'll do is I will hide my face and we will jump over to xTool's website. So if I go back, there we go. So we go onto their main website. I'll just show you the O1. So if we hit explore, and it's called the Omni printer, and the reason why it's called the Omni printer is because Omni means all powerful and all encompassing. So it's capable of doing many different things. And the Omni printer is the industry's first desktop printer that combines UV direct printing, UV DTF transfers, DTF film transfers, and direct to garment printing in a single machine. So yeah, it's 4-in-1, as it says up here, and it comes in 3 different variations. And what you want depends on what you really want to do. So if we scroll to the bottom, you've got the specifications here. So you might say, Wayne, I don't know what I want. So simple questions, really. If you want to print or do things with clothes, you need the UV plus DT Fabric Edition. So you will need this. If you want to do anything with clothes, you will need the Fabric Edition. It uses completely different ink. So it has two print heads. One is dedicated for UV, one is dedicated for DT. So it's similar in the fact, like this one, that it has dual heads, but it operates very differently. So it has two sets of inks. The dual-headed one is able, just specifically does hard and flexible materials, but not clothes. So the UV, these two do not do clothes. So the difference between this one and this one is the type of ink that you can put in it. So it comes down to the rigid and flexible inks. So the dual one is able to print onto soft leather, for example, that can easily be bent. What would happen if you did it with this one is the ink would crack. So this one, the single edition, is what you want if you're printing to hard surfaces. So if you're printing to acrylic, wood, enamel golf coins, for example, like myself, you only need the single UV edition. There are benefits if you are still just printing to that material and go with the dual. The dual print head will be slightly faster, but the dual print head is specifically for if you want to do a range of different materials. In terms of what they can do, they all have the same print size. So the bed sizes are all the same. And you can see here the difference between the print heads. One, the single has a single print head. The dual and the UV plus DT both have dual print heads. And like I said, one of these here is dedicated for the UV and the others for the DT. Whereas here, both are dedicated for the UV. Print resolution is 720 by 1440 dots per inch. And if anyone knows anything, that is very, very high resolution. So that's not the resolution of the picture that you're printing. That's the resolution per inch. So it's very high resolution. And the UV dual head is specifically equipped to handle the fluorescent red, the fluorescent yellow, as well as the rigid white and flexible white inks. You can see here that the others do not have that. And here you can see the fabric side, the fabric inks. None of the others can handle the fabric inks. So if you're looking to print on fabric, you have to get this model. It's not a question, that's what you have to get. And again, I'll drop the link for the UV printer in the comments. So ink capacity, they're all capable of the same capacity. This one doesn't list that white. It does have a white cartridge, but it's not capable of having that rigid white or flexible white. And this one, that capacity for white, that's for the DT ink. And then it does list some of the things so all of them can do laminating, so all of them can produce the UV DTF stickers. And it does go on to list more information. And then, as Jeff asked, you can use another machine to do print and cut. So it supports the P3, P2, P2S, S1, M2, and the M1 Ultra. So they'll be adding support as and when new machines come out. If you're looking to do acrylic, in one of the videos up here, print and cut is shown. There is so many videos, so many things. There's so much hype around this machine right now. It's absolutely unreal. Rotary attachment. So if you're looking to do rotary, you need the rotary attachment. Scroll down, I'm sure it is here. There we go, print and cut. So what it does first is it will print to the material, and then it will cut after the fact. So it prints those markers and it's able to identify it. So it's absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend you check that out. And again, if you want more information, please do reach out to me. More than happy to help. And again, I will drop my contact information into the chat. Please do reach out. I'm here to help you. I'm not just here to sell you machines. I'm here to make sure you get the right machine. So many times I've had demos and the machines that people are looking at aren't the correct ones for their business. Sometimes, and more than often, believe it or not, it's a cheaper machine they need. Because sometimes you're looking to do something that only one machine can specialize in. So for example, acrylic, a diode laser can cut dark, opaque acrylic, so black acrylic, absolutely fine. But if you was to try and cut this clear acrylic that's on the screen, only a CO2 laser can do that. So there's the right tool for the job and there's the wrong tool for the job. And sometimes a machine can do it. It might not be the best, but it can do it. And that's fine, but sometimes you do need a very specific type of machine. So again, I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, please do reach out. I'll be online again tomorrow at the same time, and we'll cover pretty much the same information. If you have any questions in the meantime and don't send them to me, feel free to join and ask them. I'm more than happy to help.